welcome back to Wicked Sports, and welcome to the Miami Minute, where we cover my favorite team, the Miami Dolphins. And it has been a minute. It's been a little while since I've dusted off the old microphone here to talk about the Dolphins and the NFL. But we're back. The preseason is over, thank God. And we're here to talk a little bit about the Miami Dolphins preseason, what we learned from it. I want to start off with praising rookie running back, number 31, Ollie Gordon II. So his preseason stat line ended up being 26 carries for 126 yards and one touchdown with a 4.8 average, which of course is pretty solid. I think what the Dolphins have lacked coming into this season is somebody who can run the ball down the defenders' throats. And it's my hope that 6'2", 225-pound Ollie Gordon II is going to be able to do that. You know, we have Devon Achane and Jalen Wright both nursing some kind of injuries. So I think Gordon will have ample opportunities in order to show that he can get it done when the season starts. And not for nothing, love Achane is a guy who he gets hurt occasionally. And if we aren't going to have him, then I'm happy that we have a more physical running back to potentially carry the load as things go forward in this week one matchup, especially against the Indianapolis Colts. So for being a sixth-round pick, he is the rookie that I maybe am most excited to watch this season. And that's, you know, due in large part to him playing such an important position for the Dolphins, for this offense. If the Dolphins can establish a running game that defenses are genuinely afraid to go against, then sky's the limit for this offense this season. And the fact that they have pretty much no good cornerbacks at the moment makes it seem like they're going to have to score a lot of points. So it's going to be very important. So Ollie Gordon, we learned that he's really good as we had hoped. And I hope that he will remain good when the regular season starts. The other big thing coming into this preseason for me, as someone who frets about the Dolphins and everything that's happening with them at any moment, was who is going to be Tua's backup. So we're all well acquainted with the fact that when Tua is playing, the Dolphins offense, pretty dang good. When Tua is not playing, the Dolphins offense, horrible. Tough to watch, even. We've had a long list of quarterbacks who have filled in for Tua in his absence. And outside of one playoff game where Skylar Thompson made us all think that he was going to look a lot better in this offensive system than he ended up looking in any subsequent starts, we have not had anybody who can live up to Tua and do what he does best. And that has been disappointing, to say the very least. Because Tua, I love him. I'm a big Tua supporter. We can't always rely on Tua to not get injured. That's been well established, unfortunately. So we need to have a good backup quarterback. And so the Dolphins tried two different ways of addressing this. So the first one was obviously adding veteran, former second overall pick by the Jets, Zach Wilson, who had 327 yards, one touchdown, no picks. He led some scoring drives. He looked okay. The first game he played, I thought he looked horrible. I wrote an article about it on Dolphins Talk about how Zach Wilson is still bad. I think he improved his play as the preseason went on, and I am somewhat comfortable going into the regular season with Zach Wilson being the backup. And part of what makes me somewhat comfortable with this is right behind him is rookie quarterback Quinn Ewers. So coming into last season, Quinn Ewers was somebody who I think many people believed could be a first-round pick. That's not what happened. He ended up falling all the way to the 7th round, being picked 231 for the Dolphins. And like Zach Wilson, the first preseason game, let's just call it forgettable. It was not good. He had a bad opening preseason game for the Dolphins for his, career. 5 of 18, 91 yards, 2 sacks, and 2 fumbles. But in the games after that, 11 for 17, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Lions. I thought he looked so good in that game. And then game 3 of the preseason, 7 of 8 for 66 yards against the Jaguars. Again, I thought he looked very solid. He's looked better each week he's played. And if Tua gets hurt, if Zach Wilson struggles, maybe Ewers can at least keep the ship moving forward until Tua gets back. So I'm very excited by the potential that Ewers presents. I think he is a quarterback who I actually liked coming out of college. I didn't think he would be a 7th round pick. I was pretty happy that the Dolphins ended up drafting him because, again, who knows what's going to happen with Tua this season. But yeah, that's, what we got going on for preseason. As the preseason has ended and the regular season draws closer, we have a Tuesday deadline for players to be released to get down to that 53-man roster. At the time of recording, which is Monday, August 25th at 2:10 p.m., the Dolphins have released Mike Hilton. He was somebody who I thought was going to be at least a veteran leadership role for the Dolphins this season, considering how weak they are at cornerback. I thought he was someone who was going to make the team, quite frankly, and that didn't happen. They've also released Pharaoh Brown, tight end. Not as surprising there that he got released. The released running back, Aaron Samklin, not that big of a deal. They've cut AJ Henning as well as running back Mike Boone, who scored a touchdown the other day against the Jaguars. And they've released offensive lineman Addison West, hoping to get him back for the practice squad, as well as offensive lineman Jackson Carman. You would think a team that, not that great at offensive line either would not be releasing, at least they would release swap bodies in the position, but apparently you'd be wrong. Sometimes I think that Chris Greer lives in a bizarre world apart from our own, where our concerns are strengths in his mind, or at least they're not concerns at all. So as the day wears on, I'm sure we'll get more moves. I hope that the Dolphins are cooking something up with, regards to cornerback or offensive line trades. We'll see what happens, but probably do another episode this week, kind of talking about the 53-man roster, if they put out their depth chart, where anything goes, and maybe even talk a little bit broader about other surprising releases for the NFL. So the regular season is very, very nearly upon us. I could not be more excited. God, I love football. Even if the Dolphins make me cry. I just love football overall. So if you're a Dolphins fans, what are your thoughts on the preseason? What stood out to you? Would love to hear from you in the comments. So stick right here on the Overwatch League report on Wicked Good Everything.